quiet on set. We're working here. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming back to Bronco Adventures. And you know this, Bronco. We're a Bronco Man 6's shop, and we got a treat for you today. See, he's got large tires on his Bronco, and it's rubbing the fender liners. And he goes to car shows, and everybody's like, you got tore up fender liners. So he got a hold of a set of DV8 inner fender wells that we'll be installing. It says that you don't even have to have a lifted Bronco to fit 37s. You put these on and it don't rub. You'll have credit at car shows again. So we're gonna show you how to remove the wheel well, and put these in, and more importantly, how to assemble these. It's tricky, but we'll teach you along the way. Come on, let's get to it. There's so many steps. I would recommend they send you the QR code for the instructions right in the box. Print them off, because you're going to want to lay these out and really compare everything. The parts in the box, well, they're not really marked, but by pictures, you can figure out where they go. So, DV8, you may have heard of them. Small little company, huge in the Jeep world, stepping into Bronco stuff now. So, you name it, they've got it. Or they're producing it. Plus, it's American made, out of California. Keep it here in the good old USA, that's what we like. So, first step to installing these guys is we're gonna start removing the fender and then the inner fender. You gotta get those out of the way. You know, you wanna do it nice. You don't wanna just be, you know, rough in there, because we don't know what we need until we need it. And if it's gone, it's gone. So, that's how we're gonna start. Remove the fender, remove the inner fender. Let's get to it. So you're gonna want to take your time, because there's about 100 clips inside here. Removing the fender, you know, is easy, but as you take out all these nuts and bolts, and you already done?
Yeah, what's taking so long?
Wow, I was doing it the nice way, but you know, maybe we'll just get rough with it. Now I don't have the heart to do that, so we're gonna finish doing it the right way. It's an adorable little tiny turbo.
Hey, good things come in small packages.
It's about how you use it.
It is.
Yeah.
But I don't drive as hard as you.
I know. All right, so now that we got everything out of the way, so what we've done is our lower two mounting points, we've had to open up the factory hole to 11/32 per the instructions. Then we're going to be inserting the provided nut certs. You just need the tool, and here's our tool. And we're just going to pop them in right there on both of those ones we just drilled out. Another one. So from what we're seeing, the instructions are not real clear, but once you get that liner up in here, we noticed that there was 2 more points that we had to add nut certs to, which is this bracket here that was originally holding our inner fender, and then also one up in here. Again, the instructions don't really tell you that, but once we got it up in here to play with fitment, we realized you need 2 more there. So we're figuring it out together. Now that you got it up in there, just get all your hardware started into those nut certs, and just takes a little bit of finagling to get the thing to line up. But the cool part is they flex pretty good, so I guess you don't have to be so precise on them. All right, so now let me show you how to assemble one. The instructions show, you know, these are all labeled and marked, which is great. If the parts themselves were labeled or marked. So you kind of got to use your head and deviate away from the instructions a little bit. See what we did there? You got to just look at it figure out which side you're dealing with, passenger or driver, and then it'll line up. But it takes a little bit of bench work to figure out exactly where these line up because the instructions aren't very clear. But let me show you how to build the passenger side, because that's what we're doing here. There's 2 bolts in the hardware they send you. One's a little short guy, and the other one's a long one. For everything that you're going to be assembling this with is going to be the short one and then a nut on the back side. The long ones are used to go through to the nut cert that we install on the Bronco. So long ones to the Bronco, short ones to the actual wheel well liner. Let's start back here. And first you're going to want to leave them all kind of loose, so that way when we put it in the Bronco we can shift everything around and then tighten them up when we know where we want everything to be. Kind of adds in its own little level of difficulty because everything wants to move and shift on you while you're putting it together. But as you see, on the driver's side, getting that in there, these flex and move enough that even if you're not 100% correct, it's correct enough that you'll be able to wiggle it around. Pretty forgiving, which is nice. Plus, off-road things flex and twist anyway. So I think they'd have to be pretty forgiving for that fact as well, if nothing else. Have a friend help you. 4 hands, light work, easier, it's fine. A lot of hardware. While I'm doing this, taking time, you should take a second and subscribe. We do giveaways all the time. Just hit the thing and then you're in on that, whatever that may be at that time. It's just right there. These are easy. Instructions say about 3 hours on the install time. I think that's probably per side. Then you take your piece that goes over the shock tower. Anytime you've got the small hole, that's for your bolt head. When it goes through there, all of our points overlap on the outside of the fender flare. So these just pop in right here. Fender liner, not fender flare. These do add some flair though. I mean, the driver's side would be looking good. And then you're on your last piece. And then just like that, you've got a fender liner with a whole lot of bolts. So again, everything is loose for now. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it up in the Bronco, kind of map out where these need to be. You can even take and hit the joint, depending on where you get it lined up, you can take a little Sharpie line or something. That way when you take it out to actually tighten it up to where when you're putting it in, you'll be able to know exactly where you need to tighten it up to. Again, these are pretty flexible and forgiving. So when you get it up in the Bronco, you kind of can maneuver it around. Now, don't throw this away. We're looking at the instructions, and this little bracket is only used on the passenger side. And we dug through the garbage to find it because it fell down in there. So make sure you have this. This piece only is used on the passenger side to help support, I believe it's the front portion, and we'll show you that as soon as we jump over there. So we're gonna get it in there, we'll get it all lined up, tighten it all up, and then we'll get our nut certs put in and repeat what we did on the driver's side. Come check it out. All right, so there's the passenger side. We had to do a little bit of extra kind of finagling because of this bracket that's on here. These 3 little bolts were kind of difficult to line up. Once we got them to pop in there though, you just utilize a short bolt and a nut from the back side, and it goes in just like the other side does. I mean, here again, because they flex around a little bit, kind of just hold them in there and get it all tightened up. Now we'll put the fender flare back on and there it is. Now you got street credit, I think. I don't know. They look cool, that's for sure. Plus, the idea is to put these on a factory Bronco with the Sasquatch package on it, and supposedly you can clear 37s, but you know, coil over life, we already clear 37s, but now we just look gooder doing it. Let's put the fender flare back on. Junk. Look at how cool that looks. That is worth all of the stress of putting these things in, because there's a lot of moving parts here. And I'll tell you what, once the job's done, you're glad it's done. The instructions really aren't that clear, and what we've decided is throughout the pictures, it's alternating between the driver's side and the passenger side. So you've got to really look at these things to decide where you need to be on what step. There again, once you figure it out, it actually goes pretty smooth. And the idea of clearing 37s on a factory suspension, that's pretty sweet that way, with money well spent. But now you're not going to have tore up anything under there. You've got all the articulation room. So go check them out. We'll link DV8 in the description below. And get off your couch and go create an adventure, because that's what we're going to do. See you next time.
Bronco Adventures.